What's going on, guys? It's your favorite Apex Legends coach, Ninja Cowboy, back with another patch notes review. Super excited. Not really. I'm actually updating the game right now, and I'm going to just take a quick second here to review the patch notes, and then I'm going to upload them, and then later, probably on Friday's upload, I'll give you guys my actual take on the season, as I'll actually have some time to get my hands on it. So kicking off the patch notes, we've got the dev stream, which I haven't watched yet. Not really too interested in watching it, but if you want to see me watch and react to it, just go ahead and drop a comment down below and let me know. We got Fuse, already seen his abilities. He's got the freaking, what is that, knuckle cluster? It sticks to people, boom, 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 does a total of 50 damage if you stick somebody. Pretty strong, but I don't think it's going to be too broken. It seems really easy to dodge. It's got a really big delay on its explosion time, and the explosions spread out pretty far, so it's not like, even if you are standing in the same spot, if it doesn't stick you, most of them will miss you anyway. His passive, Grenadier, he can stack grenades just like old school shit, and he can launch grenades super far and accurate, which is cool for grenade spam, combo with Horizon and all that stuff, but getting to take a look at it more with some other people playing it, thinking about it as well, it might be a little broken comboing that with Horizon and everything, so we'll see how that goes. And then the last ultimate, Motherload, it seems like it's going to be pretty cool, interesting to use. I think there are going to be some dynamic ways that you can use it, but at the end of the day, I really don't foresee this being like a very broken ultimate when you're not comboing it with something like a Horizon ultimate or a Caustic ultimate or something like that. So there's that. Something I'm super excited for, the new weapon, the 30-30 repeater. I've seen some gameplay of it. I'm sure a lot of you have seen some gameplay of it too, and I think it looks really good, really clean. Again, I'll do like my actual impressions of it. I'm going to be playing Fuse with the 30-30 a whole lot for the next couple of days before I upload my next video. So I'll give you guys my final thoughts later, and then next week I'll give my week 1 impressions after Season 8 to see how it feels. So 30-30 heavy weapon. It carries, I think, with a purple mag, I think it carries 12 shots or something along those lines. You reload 1 bullet at a time, just like a Mastiff. So you can reload, stop reloading halfway through, shoot, reload, you know, kind of like the Ash weapon from Overwatch. I believe it does around 41 to the body on not a non-low pro or non-fortified character. And full charged, I think it does 51 to the body. Headshots are around 70 damage, no charge. Full charge are around 90. So I think its damage doesn't seem too crazy, but we'll see how much of an impact it has on the game. I definitely hope it beats out the Scout. I hope it beats out the Hemlock. I hope it, you know, kind of shifts the meta a little bit. I wouldn't mind a meta shift. Kings Canyon getting some updates. We got to the ship crashed in the back. They opened up the back of artillery, which is pretty cool. You can see right here that that's the back big building from artillery. They broke out the back, so opened up this whole area, made it more playable. So that's really, really good. I think Kings Canyon needed more space to work with. So with an extra POI, maybe 2 POIs, I think it'll be a lot more viable for competitive play as well as ranked. So it should be looking good there. I'm pretty excited to get into it. They also changed the direction of the sun, and they put some clouds in the sky, some other things, just to change it up again, make it look cleaner, make it look different, give us something fresh to do. So definitely excited about that. Legendary magazines. Now I'm going to talk a little more about these when we go down to the weapon updates, just because there are a couple things that I have a problem with that I'm really, really worried about, and I would really, really like to see addressed quickly. But just in and of themselves, legendary magazines I think are fantastic. I don't really know why it was necessary for them to take the gold barrel out to put the legendary mags in. I don't think the gold barrel ever really had that big of an impact on the game in the first place, but maybe they're just looking to do a rework on it and they want to test it. That would be okay by me. But essentially the gold mag is going to give you the same amount of ammo that a purple magazine would on heavy, light, and sniper and energy, except when your gun is holstered and you're using your secondary weapon, if your gun that's holstered has a gold magazine on it, after a certain amount of time, I think it's a couple seconds, after a brief delay, so I'm assuming 1, maybe 2 seconds, the gun that's holstered with the gold mag will reload the magazine for you. So you can kind of hot swap more often. You don't have to worry about which gun's loaded. Do I need to reload now? Do I need to find cover? You can kind of increase the pace of fights. So it's going to allow you to put a lot more pressure down on teams that aren't feeling as confident in their gunfight ability. Moving on to the quality of life updates. So this kind of stuff is the kind of stuff that we like to see. We're interested in seeing it, but I'm really just going to breeze over it. Damage counters, so now you can know who's out damaging who mid-game. Pretty cool, pretty interesting little thing to add to the HUD. I actually like stuff like that. Pinging ammo, they've changed pinging ammo a million times, don't care. Colorblind update, I always love when they give updates to people who are like colorblind or, you know, have different sort of disabilities that can, you know, help them enjoy the game just like all of us do. It doesn't really affect me much. But, I mean, it's cool. Healing and reviving will now follow colorblind rules when colorblind settings are enabled. Again, I didn't even know that that wasn't happening, but it's good to see that it is. And lore blurbs on canon skins. I think Respawn tries really, really hard to push the lore of this game in our face, and a lot of people like it, but it's kind of... It's interesting. It's hard to digest a lore of a game when it's a battle royale and you never really have that character-to-character impactful moment outside of those stupid comics that they put in, which I think are so stupid. But, you know, for people who like it, there you go. Some of your skins that are canon are going to have a little voice line to it, so, you know, maybe you'll get to hear about your favorite longbow and how Lifeline loves it so much. I don't know. Okay, Legend meta. So, Wraith hitbox adjustments. All right, so I have seen nothing on Twitter other than people complaining about the new Wraith hitbox. So the biggest complaint from what I'm seeing is these little corners outside of her head that are like outside of her bun. You see those right there? Can I zoom this? Oh. All right, so these little corners outside of her head, you can shoot those pretty easily, making her head pretty much match up with the size of every other character in the game. And they only really stretched it, if you look, maybe what, a millimeter at best. Didn't really change it all that much. And then the legs, people are complaining about the legs, but the legs, if you compare them, you know, not too different. The torso is where the majority of the changes came through. Like, you can see her mid torso got a pretty good chunk added on. Her hips and her upper thigh got a pretty good chunk. You can see up here her chest, pretty good chunk added on, but most of that is in her arms, so it should make sense that that would be a hitbox. So people can complain, but I really think it comes down to a lot of people play Wraith because Wraith has a small hitbox and it's easier to be an effective player when you have a small hitbox. And people are upset because now they don't have as small of a hitbox. Now, my counter argument to Wraith mains being upset and, you know, hitboxes being changed, blah, 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 would you be equally as salty, or would you have even noticed if they just made the Wraith player model bigger? If they gave Wraith a bigger head, not a head hitbox, a bigger head, like literally when I'm looking at her, her head is visually bigger. Would you have been upset if they gave her bigger legs or a bigger torso, or if they just increased her entire body by like a ratio of like 1.2 or 1.3 or something like that, just to make her a little more evenly based? I don't think anyone would have complained. I don't think anyone would have made a fuss about it, but just because the hitbox doesn't line up exactly to the character model, we're starting to have some issues. But if you look here at the old hitbox compared to the new, it really didn't change that much, especially not where people are complaining. So, you know, I just think everyone needs to kind of readdress their opinions on that, take a second look at the legend, and I think a lot of opinions will change there. So coming down here to some of the other legend changes. So we got Rampart, her Sheila angle, so her turret angle is increased to 180 degrees. Sorry, Sheila mains, sorry, Rampart mains, but I really don't think Rampart is going to be even somewhat viable unless you're a good player. And I'll go more into that later if it's asked for. I'll probably upload videos about it on TikTok, not here, just because it only takes me less than 60 seconds to explain why certain legends are just not very viable and get beat out by other options. So, you know, if you're a Rampart main and you like playing Rampart and that's your thing, have fun. Love the game. Enjoy yourself. That's perfectly fine. Do your thing. What I'm saying is from a Apex Legends coach, from a competitive standpoint, and someone who wants to help people climb ranked and make it into the pro scene and go from a tier 3, tier 2 team to a tier 1 team, Rampart is not the go. Rampart is not the wave. She's cool, interesting abilities, but it's just not the move. Moving on to Horizon, I think a lot of people are having a lot of fun with Horizon, but as of recent, things have been brought to light with the Caustic, the Horizon, the Gibby, now the Fuse. Gravity lift effective cooldown increased from 21 to 25 seconds. So once your gravity lift shuts off, once you throw it, it's being used, blah, 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 it goes away. You have 15 seconds from that point. So you have an effective 25 seconds total, meaning the grav is up for 10 seconds. You have a 15-second cooldown at the backside of that. I really don't think that's that terrible. I think Horizon's still going to be a lot of fun, and I think the main thing that needed adjusting was her ultimate, not her tactical. So we'll see there. I have a lot of fun playing Horizon. I almost exclusively play her in pubs, so I'm not really too butthurt by that one. I think that's a perfectly fine change. Octane, this is a big one. This is going to be a fun one. Launchpad remastered. Many players may have known about Octane Super Jump. For those of you that didn't play prior to season 6, 5, something like that. The super jump is right when you hit the jump pad. If you hit your jump key, hit your space bar, hit your A or whatever it is on controller, you would go higher and farther. So it just made his jump pad insane, which super jump is a pretty good way to describe that. Was possible with a well-timed jump while hitting the pad. Once that double jump option was introduced, there was an input clash that led to unreliable usage. So after they introduced the double jump, players were still trying to do the super jump, but it would negate their double jump or just make it like a dud. The double jump would be like that was it, and you wouldn't get like any actual boost. You would just kind of, that was it. Or you wouldn't get the double jump at all, or the jump pad would just like put you 10 feet in front of it. Like there was some really weird things going on there. So we decided to add some launch options. So hitting the jump pad from a standing position, players will launch along a high arc. So if you're running, standing up, and you hit it, you'll go way up high. From a crouch position, players will launch on a low arc, meaning they'll fly lower but farther, which pretty much means faster. When you're running at it and you slide to hit it, you're going to go lower and you're going to go much farther. So pretty cool. I think that's a really, really good change. Crypto removability to stick arc stars, friendly drones. I think it was fun. I think it was an interesting thing. I don't think it happened that often to where it really needed to be changed. But I mean, there it is. There you have it. Loot inside care packages. I think that should have been the thing the entire time. I think that would have been. This literally shouldn't have been something that changed. This is something that should have been going from the start. All gas now dissipates after Caustic's team is eliminated. We'll see if that's actually a thing, because I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be a thing last season prior, but it just wasn't. So we'll see if that's actually working that way. Mirage decoys create footstep sounds. If I'm being honest with you, I didn't even know they didn't, because I'm pretty sure they do. But now they definitely do. So whoop-de-doo. I don't know. Now, weapon meta. This is a big one. Very, very big one here. A lot of big things to talk about. Not too big. They might not seem big in the patch notes, but they are quite important when you look at them a little deeper. So first, the fully kitted rotation. I always love that they mix these up. I think it's a really cool dynamic to the game, always pulling out and putting in different gold weapons every season. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it keeps people on their toes. It's a good time. So they took out the Wingman, the Sentinel, the Havoc, the G7, and the Alternator. So the only guns I ever really saw gold were the Havoc and the Wingman. I've seen a couple Alternators and Sentinels. Never seen a gold G7, but, I'm a little sad. I like the Wingman gold. It was pretty cool. And the Havoc gold was pretty cool as well. But, I like to see the rotation. I like to see them mix it up. The R301, the 3030, the Mozambique, the Longbow, and the Spitfire are going to be the new gold guns in the game. So that should be pretty cool. I'm excited to see the 3030 as a gold weapon. I think the 3030 is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see the R301 come back as a gold weapon. It was a gold weapon back in season 2 or 3 or something like that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Longbow don't care. Mozambique don't really care. And the Spitfire, I have an issue with that one being a gold gun, and we will go over that when we get to the Spitfire in the weapon meta attachments. So, okay, attachments. Removing gold barrel. Like I said, don't really know why that was necessary, but maybe they're trying to rework it to make it do something different. Whatever. Not really that big of an impact on the game. Moving on. Oh, look, ready to play Apex. Now, hop-ups. The double tap hop-up will be removed from the loot pool. That has literally zero impact on the game. The double tap hop-up was not useless, but used maybe 1 in 10 players use this if they got a scout. So I'm really not even, that has no effect on me. I don't really care at all. The anvil rounds will be added back into the loot pool. I personally think the anvil rounds had a place in the game, but weren't necessarily something you should rely on. More rely on that automatic spray, especially with the R301 being as strong as it is and having such low recoil. I really don't think the anvil rounds are necessary, but I know a lot of people that really, really enjoy anvil rounds. So, you know, for all you people that really love anvil rounds, there you go. I mean, I hope you enjoy them. I hope you have a good time. I hope you don't frag me. Now, Volt, bullet damage, decreased from 16 to 15. This is not good. The reason I'm saying this is not good is because we need competitors for the R9. The R9 needs to be competed with, or else it's going to go back to R9 meta where everyone's running around with an R9 PK, in this instance R9 Mastiff. Even though it's only a 1 damage per bullet decrease, it's still just going to stretch that gap farther from the R9. Now the Volt, a lot of people think the Volt is a lot stronger than the R9, so maybe this will match the Volt up with the R9. But I think each gun has a place. The Volt is good mid-range and close range. The R9's good mid-range, but a lot better close range, coming up to that mid-range threshold. So that's kind of where the Volt edged out the R9, is in that mid-range engagement distance. It was much better at entry damage and entry fragging, much better at sustaining damage over a long period of time. Whereas the R9 kind of just, it was kind of like fire and forget with your magazines. Even with a purple, you're still just kind of, and then back in the reload, you know. So those differences are important, and I think we need to keep those in the game. But for them to decrease the bullet damage by 1 might be pretty significant. Again, we'll see in my 1 week predictions. Alternator bolt damage increased 15 to 16. No one's still going to use that gun. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Spitfire. Bullet damage increased. Bullet damage increased from 18 to 19. My issue with this is that the Spitfire in its current state, you can legitimately, standing up with not that great of a stock or not that great of attachments, hip fire that weapon and accurately hit around 50% of your bullets from majority of ranges, mid-range and closer. So before you even think about ADSing, aiming down sights, or crouch spamming, you're already hitting 50% of your bullets. Mix in crouch spamming and closing the engagement distance, you're adding another damage per bullet to a gun that can hold 55 max, starts at 35. People are joking on Twitter saying the double Spitfire meta's here, but everyone's going to be laughing and joking until it's a real thing, and then we all stop playing Apex. So I really hope the devs do something about this sooner rather than later, because I'm not going to be forcing myself to run a Spitfire just because it's meta. I'm not doing it. I'll find a way around it. I don't care, but I've already been dying to people who are much, much worse at the game than me just because they have a Spitfire and can hold left click and chase me around hip firing. So hopefully that gets addressed. Okay, and then the other two things. So reload speed and empty reload speed increased by 0.4 seconds and 0.5 seconds. Now, some people might say, oh, well, look, once they run out of ammo, then that's when you make your push and you have extra time now and blah, blah, blah. I got it. But when this dude's got freaking 55 shots to send my way, he possibly has 2 Spitfires. Maybe one of those has a gold magazine, so when he holsters it, it reloads itself. You can't put a mechanic in the game that reloads a gun while it's holstered and then buff the one gun that could abuse that mechanic aggressively. It's like they were asking people to run double Spitfire. I don't know. We'll see. I'm a little upset about that one. I think the game is going to be impacted in a negative way. And anytime my favorite game in the world is impacted in a negative way, I'm going to speak up about it. So that's how I feel about the Spitfire changes. I really, 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 really hope that this is not as broken as it seems. But we'll see. Stand by for my 1 week 1 week impressions video coming out, and then we'll go from there. EVA 8 fire rate increase 2.0, 2.1. Awesome. Love it. I think the EVA 8 needs to be able to compete with the Mastiff. Right now it's falling a little bit short, but it's still up there, and I think a little bit of fire rate increase will definitely help it get all the way up there. So that's essentially it. That's pretty much it. I mean, we went over whole patch notes, all the guns, some of my stronger feelings, some of my not so strong feelings. The only thing I didn't really get in depth with is the caustic thing. I think he needs a bit more of a rework than just buffing him a little bit, nerfing him a little bit, but we'll see. I mean, I think this season's going to be great. I think Apex content creators, Apex players, competitive players, ranked grinders, pubs players, casuals, everybody, I think everybody is generally going.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
To be happy slightly with this season. I think some people, in my experience on Twitter in this game, are just built to complain, and they will never be happy with a product, and they're just impossible to please. So for that group of people, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You're never going to be happy. Play any video game in the world, you're just going to sit around and complain about it. You're going to be mad. But for the majority of people that are playing this game, I think they're going to enjoy it. I think anytime you introduce new content to a game, people generally have a happier aspect on the game for a duration of time before it just gets blown out, and that's when the events start coming in and things like that. So definitely looking up for the season. I'm really, really really excited to be streaming this soon. So I'm going to be, after this upload, I'll be going live about approximately 4 hours after this uploads. So if you guys are seeing this right when it drops, I appreciate you for stopping by. Go ahead, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and I hope you catch you guys in the next one. This has been your favorite Apex Legends coach, Ninja Cowboy.